Hello and welcome. My name is Yaro, but everybody calls me Lewd. Today I would like to talk about difficulty. It's a hot topic still, and I also have 2 cents to add to the pile. I have a perspective or a point to make that I don't see anyone talk about. It's especially relevant these days. By these days, I'm talking about the days of social media, Twitter, Discord, all that sort of stuff. People are influenced by opinions from left and right. Peer pressure comes at us from a new angle. Everything I will talk about is, of course, my perspective, my opinion, and despite my enthusiastic and perhaps confident demeanor, I'm not preaching facts or truth. It's just my view. Also, I'm talking about able-bodied video gamers. This is not about accessibility, which is getting mixed together in this discussion. I have no experience or expertise on the topic, so I'm not covering this. I can only say that every game should have more accessibility options, which does not translate to easy mode necessarily. To me personally, I'm always glad to see colorblind options, but that's just one tiny aspect of the topic. Now then, let me start with a personal anecdote. After playing Neo for 600 hours and going through all the NG+ cycles and the Endless Abyss, I thought to myself that, maybe I should go back and try Ninja Gaiden series. Because I remember trying a demo of NGS1 on the PS3 years and years ago, and I was not very impressed. I was like, yeah, this looks cool, but I don't know, and probably not for me. But I thought the day might be different, because I have a much better understanding of action games and games in general. My mentality is different than it was 10 years ago. I enjoy difficult games, and I enjoy the learning process, however frustrating it may be at the time. So I procured myself a copy of NGS2 and Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, and I started with NGS2, Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2. I picked these games specifically because they both feature my favorite character design of all time, and that's the Kunoichi Momiji. So I started the game on hard, if I recall correctly. I think there was 3 difficulty settings at the start of the game. You unlock later difficulties after you beat the normal mode or whatever. So I started with the hardest possible, and I quickly realized that this game is very cheaply designed. It felt like a relic from ancient past, where such practices were common and accepted. The controls weren't really all that precise, as I would like anyway. The camera was a constant opponent. But when things worked as they were supposed to, or as I felt they should, it was really fun and cool. Later stages, however, they really ramped up the enemy composition and the cheap level design, trial and error, cheap enemy placement during platforming, and the goddamn ghost fish can go eat all of the penises in the world, because that was the worst thing of all time. If you played Ninja Gaiden 2, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those ghost fish can go eat a suck. Anyway, they were really exhausting my patience. But the worst thing of all, I kept shouting internally was, I don't understand, what am I doing wrong? I didn't understand. What do you want from me? I am no stranger to difficult times in action games. I tried again and again, and analyze what is giving me such hard time. What is the pace of battle? Am I using the right weapons? Attacks? What about my movement? So I tried experimenting in various encounters that felt especially egregious. But I couldn't figure it out, for the life of me. I tried watching some videos online. People are doing no-hit runs, so clearly the problem is in my hands and my understanding, right? I picked up a movement trick, there's this slide jump cancel thing, which definitely improved my experience, but not by much. Anyway, I somehow powered through the whole game, because I just wanted to prove to myself that I can beat this thing, which I did. But I asked myself, at what cost? I was not really having fun. I didn't enjoy the learning process because I felt like the game isn't trying to teach me. It just beat my ass mercilessly, without actually giving me feedback. What am I doing wrong? What should I be doing? Naturally, organically, through the gameplay. I realized I simply don't like the game and the design philosophy. I never thought to lower the difficulty though. That wouldn't solve my problem. It wouldn't teach me how to play the game, It would just make it easier to go through it but I didn't care about going through it. I wanted to understand how to play the game. So that was kind of it for Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2. I didn't really bother, like, trying to play it again on harder difficulty. It didn't seem like fun at all. So I was done with that. So I took a break for like a week or two, and then I started Ninja Gaiden 3, The Razor's Edge. The game had troubled launch, and Razor's Edge was sort of an apology edition. But I never give too much stock to gamer outrage on the internet, especially when it comes to long-standing franchises. Immediately, the game just kind of felt better to play and control, but something was still kind of off. And the design philosophy was still the same, to a lesser extent, but it was still the same old, cheap Ninja Gaiden. After about the third arena fight with a rocket launcher wielding asshat sitting in various vantage points that completely halt the flow of battle, because of the priority with which you have to deal with these assholes, otherwise you will have a bad time, I really grew tired of this recurrent design. And as I was progressing through the game and beating some more of the bosses, which were also extremely fucking hard, but not for the right reasons, I felt like I'm missing something, all the time. I'm like, this can't be the way you beat this boss? This can't be right. It takes too long. I'm taking damage? I can't avoid this, I can't avoid that. Like, when am I supposed to attack when I'm getting slobbered all the time? I just couldn't figure it out. I beat the boss somehow, but it didn't feel good, you know. That's the biggest thing. There was no catharsis. Like, I beat the boss and I was like, glad that's over. It wasn't the yes, you know? That was the worst feeling. So I paused the game and I'm like, man, what the hell? Maybe I just really don't like this game. But it's kind of same developer as Nioh, which I love so much. I don't want to deal with the things the game is constantly throwing at me. I don't want to do the things it wants me to do. And I'm not even sure I know what am I supposed to do half the time. So I gave up. I dropped the game halfway through. And easy mode wouldn't solve that problem, because I don't want to see the cutscenes. I don't want to see the bosses. I could just watch a video or watch somebody stream the game. I want to learn the game. I want to understand it and then beat it, you know? I want to learn the rules and mechanics and the controls. The games didn't want to teach me, or at least I was not getting it. And that's okay, you know? Easy mode would have only postponed my realization that I don't like the games and that I'm wasting my time on something that I don't care about. Now, I'm sure I could beat all those games on all difficulty settings, but I wouldn't enjoy it. And that would make it even harder, because trying to learn something that you don't like, that's just unreasonable. And I say I could beat it because anyone could. I'm 100% sure. You just have to like the game, and learning comes easy, or easier. The learning is fun. The learning is part of the game play, you know? I was definitely salty at various points in Sekiro because I was learning and things didn't come easily to me. I cussed, I shouted, and after I vented and calmed down again and resumed experimenting and just playing around, I beat the obstacle and then thought, man, that was pretty cool. That was cool. That was awesome. And I will remember some of those struggles because of the time I spent there. Now playing NG Plus in Sekiro is incredibly fun because I know the levels, I know the enemies, most importantly I know my character and my options, and I make the game look amazing. Easy mode wouldn't have taught me that. If you play Dark Souls, I'm 100% sure you could beat the game on Soul Level 1. If you really wanted to, if you were ready to spend the time and effort, you could do it. But would it be fun? Well, that's for you to decide. I never bothered because it doesn't seem like fun to me, and that's fine too. Not every game is suitable for everyone. We are individuals with unique tastes and preferences. Don't get peer pressured into playing something or liking something. If you have to pretend that you like something to fit in, I would encourage you to look elsewhere for friends or peers. I mean, look at me. I have no friends, basically. And that's okay, you know, because I chose this. I don't like to party, I don't like empty conversations about other people, like gossiping around. And I don't want to pretend like I do, because that would make me deeply unhappy. And I would be wasting my time. Not that I'm a happy person and I don't waste my time, but at least I choose how I waste my time. But that's beside the point. One other big point that is unmentioned: if you examine any achievement lists or trophy lists, you can see that less than 30% people on average finish games. And I'm pretty sure that's not because of difficulty. It's because of impulse purchases and lack of time or interest. If you combine all three ending trophies in Bloodborne, for the sake of the argument, we will count every achiever as a unique player, which isn't true because at least 5% of the player base got all three endings, so the number is smaller than the resulting 36% of people who finished the game. And that is the game where you make the difficulty. You can overlevel, you can underlevel, you can get stronger weapons, you can weak weapons, you can upgrade your weapons, you can play multiplayer. So there's plenty of easy modes, you know, that you can organically create if you want. But that's still 36%, less than 36% people beating the game. You know? If you look at a more mainstream title, which also has a difficulty select, like God of War, we can see 54% completion rate. I gotta admit, I was expecting that number to be way lower. That's pretty good. But that's still half the player base. Half of the people who bought the game didn't see the conclusion of the story, didn't see the twist in the narrative, and they didn't see the post-credit stinger. Unless they watched it on the internet, I guess. But easy mode didn't make the other half of the players finish the game. Maybe, you know, maybe it's because they either don't have time or they just didn't like the game. You know? In my eyes, people asking for easy mode, they're not honest with themselves. They want to be able to say that they beat the game without actually playing it. Probably because they don't like it. If they did like it, they would just keep playing, learn, and progress. If they were honest with themselves, they would just drop the game and move on. They wouldn't make any silly demands for easy modes or entitled articles on the internet. Now with that said, if somebody wants cheats to make a comeback, to mess around in the game, I see no harm in doing that, especially if it's like a single player game. You can do whatever you want. What do I care? It doesn't affect me, right? I don't have a problem with that. But don't make it sound like I should praise you for demanding it, or that I should feel bad for not wanting to do the same thing, you know? If a game doesn't have a modal difficulty, there's a probably good reason for that. And if you don't like it, be honest about it. Maybe you'll find peers who think the same, and you can play the games and talk about the games that you prefer. So that's the conclusion. Easy mode would only postpone the realization that you don't like a game and that you are wasting your time. If you're having a bad time, examine why is that. Try to experiment and play around. If you realize that you hate what you're doing, you just drop it. Be honest about your preferences and don't get peer pressured. There are so many games and we can't play them all. So I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to agree or disagree in the comments. Try to keep it relevant and rate the video. Maybe I'll catch you on the stream at Maybe I'll catch you on stream at twitch.tv/Lewdology. Lewdology. Have a good day and, don't do anything you don't want to do. Peace.